do you want? A choice. A chance.
There's your chance. Take it.
Grateful.
The day will come when you won't be.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Back with my review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead, for episode 10 of season 7, entitled New Best Friends. Episode starts out with Ezekiel, Morgan, and other members of the kingdom waiting at the pickup location for the Saviors. Diane shoots a walker with a bow, stating it had the same dress as her sister. The Saviors arrive, and Gavin comments the drop looks light, but Ezekiel tells him they have met their obligations, and Gavin agrees. Jared said that he wants Richard's gun, and the two men have a face-off. Ezekiel tells Richard to hand over his gun, which he reluctantly does. When Jared lunges at Richard, Morgan strikes him with his staff. Jared seizes the staff and hits Morgan with it, so Benjamin strikes Jared and sends him to the floor. Ezekiel bans Richard from attending future exchanges, and the Saviors prepare to leave. Morgan asks for his staff back, but Jared leaves with it. When they arrive back at the kingdom, Daryl comments on Morgan's injury caused by the Saviors. He tells him that if Carol saw that and knew about Glenn and Abe, she'd be leading them straight to the Saviors. Morgan agrees and says that's why she left. Daryl joins Richard as he practices archery. Richard says that Morgan told him he was a bowman and hands him a new crossbow and asks for his help. Daryl and Richard take some weapons from his hidden trailer and arrive at a location by the side of the road commonly used by the Saviors. Richard tells Daryl his plan to kill the Saviors when they pass, and then the others will find them. They will follow a trail that leads to a weapons cache, then to a house that someone Ezekiel cares about is living in. When Richard mentions it's a woman, Daryl demands to know her name. Richard says it's Carol, and he was hoping he didn't know who she was. Daryl refuses to put her in danger, and when Richard is about to go ahead, Daryl tackles him to the ground and they fight. Daryl tells Richard that if anything happens to Carol, he will kill him. At the junkyard, Rick meets the group's leader, Jadis. She says they own their lives and asks if they want to buy them back, but Rick tells her that they have one of their people and he wants to see Gabriel, who was brought out. Jadis mentions they took the boat supplies as well as what was left in the pantry. Rick says that she has seen the pantry and knows they have nothing to buy their lives back with. He goes on to tell her about the Saviors and tries to recruit them to fight. Jadis says no, and Gabriel is taken away while the others are attacked. Gabriel pulls a knife and threatens to kill Tamiel if they are not let go. He tells Jadis the Saviors have lots of things that they want, and if they join them, they will be rewarded more than they can imagine. Jadis says they want something now, and Gabriel says that Rick can do anything. Jadis takes Rick to the top of the trash heap and tells him he needs to prove his worth before throwing him into the trash below, where he has to fight a walker wearing a spiked helmet and implanted with several sharp spikes. He impales his hand on one of the spikes and injures his leg, but is able to defeat the walker. He asks Jadis what she wants, and they will get it. Jadis tells him that they will fight the Saviors alongside Rick only if he can provide them with enough firearms. She also requests half of the booty after they have defeated the Saviors, but Rick negotiates the share into 1/3 and let them keep half of their supplies taken from the pantry. He goes back to the others and tells them they have a deal, and he and Michonne hug. Carol comes outside to find Ezekiel and some of the kingdom residents in her garden. Ezekiel tells her that they are out there clearing the dead. As Carol says goodbye, Jerry hands her some cobbler, which she accepts before telling them to go. She sits back down to read her book until someone knocks on the door. She answers it, and it's Daryl, and the two hug. Daryl tells her that Jesus took them to the kingdom and asks why she left. She tells him she had to. Back at the junkyard, Gabriel explains to Rick that he heard a noise in the pantry and was jumped by the woman because she didn't get the supplies from the boat and was angry and made him pack up everything else. He said he hoped Rick knew what he meant by boat, and Rick credits him for getting them there. Gabriel says that they will set things right, but things will get hard before that time comes. He asks Rick why he was smiling, and Rick tells him that someone showed him enemies can become friends. Tara suggests heading back to Alexandria, but Rosita says they need to go search for guns. Tara reasons that Rick and Aaron are injured and that the people back home need food. Rosita says that she will go on her own, but Tara says they are sticking together. Rosita asks what her problem is, and Tara says that they aren't looking for a fight, but are getting ready for one. Rosita says it's always a fight and tells her to grow up. Michonne tells Rick once he's patched up, they will go out straight back out looking for guns. He says to Tara she's been out farther than any of them, and she could tell them where not to look, and she laughs it off nervously. Before they leave, Rick hands Michonne a cat statue to replace the one she lost. Back at Carol's, she sits in front of a fire in her house and tells Daryl that she couldn't lose any of them. She says if the Saviors hurt any of them, she would have to kill them, and there wouldn't be anything left of her after that. She asks if the Saviors came. Daryl said they did. She starts to get upset, then she asks if everyone back home is okay. Daryl lies and tells her that they made a deal like Ezekiel and everyone is fine. She smiles with relief and she says that tells Daryl to come sit down and eat. He asks if Ezekiel is okay, and she says she thinks he is. As he leaves the house, he turns back to hug Carol and tells her to watch out for herself. Back at the kingdom, Daryl sits by Shiva's cage and Morgan appears, tells him he's good with her and Ezekiel would be impressed. Daryl says a guy who has a pet tiger can't be that bad. He tells him that he found Carol, and Morgan tells him she didn't want him to tell anyone where she was. Daryl says he understands and that they need the kingdom and that he has to make that happen. Morgan apologizes and says it can't be him. Daryl says whatever he's holding on to is already gone. Morgan says that Daryl is the same as him, and Daryl says he doesn't know anything about him, but Morgan says he does. He knows Daryl didn't tell Carol about Glenn and Abe, or she'd be there now. Daryl leaves and tells him he's going back to the hilltop in the morning to get ready. The next day, the kingdom gates open and Daryl walks out. He looks back at Morgan, who then looks to Richard. The gates close and Daryl heads to the hilltop as the episode comes to an end. Alright guys, that was my review / rundown of Season 7, Episode 10, entitled New Best Friends. Thanks for checking this out as always. Like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome to Woodburn.
This is my pants yet?